Welcome to TL's Roadhouse. Good to be with all you folks again. My friend Kasey Tyndall is in the house.
What's
Yay.
up?
I've been looking so forward to doing this with
Me
you.
too. I'm so excited to be here.
So, new baby.
Yes.
How's-
Well, she's about to be 2 in a couple weeks. Can you believe that?
The terrible twos.
Woo! She's already, Lord, testing my patience, but I love it.
Yeah. Mine are grown. I got one that will be that turns 22 on the 15th of April, and my oldest daughter will be 24 in June.
Wow.
It goes by so fast.
I know.
It's just all the little things that they do. Just savor all of it because it goes by so fast. When you're in the middle of it, it's like, oh my God, I can't wait till she turns 3. I can't wait till she starts kindergarten. I can't. It's like, it's like, oh my gosh.
I know. I feel like I've just blinked and I'm like, wow, she's 2. And I take videos of everything. Like I feel like I have to just because of that. So,
I just wonder though. I miss the days. It's like when I go home and I see my mom. She's got a big box that she keeps underneath her bed with all the old Polaroids and pictures that she had developed over the years. And we did all these pictures, and they're on hard drives or they're on old cameras, and they get lost, and you trade things in, and it's like how do you keep all that stuff together now? It's like we haven't done, my wife and I don't think we've done a very good job at holding on to all those memories along the way or archiving them properly because you don't have a physical thing to hold and touch that you can stick in a box. That makes sense.
We have a box for the physical stuff. Like we're just cutting her off of passies, which oh my God, it's going better than I thought. But like we're putting one in there, like that kind of stuff. We're putting in the memory box. But I mean, thank goodness for like iCloud. So like if you trade in your phone, it can go to the next. And so, but we are trying to like, all right, we're going to print these pictures out. The stuff that really stands out. We're trying to make some physical stuff. So.
Do you go through like a service to print them out and have a little scrapbook made?
I mean, you can go down to the Walgreens and
like Shutterfly or something.
Yeah, Shutterfly. Yeah. I think there's some ways.
Shutterfly, if you'd like to sponsor this show, we are
Shutterfly. Well, there's also there's so many different things you can do. But there's also you can buy these little printers that Bluetooth connects and it just prints you out a cute little picture. I mean, it's great.
When we started our family, I actually was able to, I had a 6-month bunk bus with a stateroom in the back with a bathroom and a shower. So we took one side out and built a bunk bed in there, and we had a baby monitor and everything. And the side would drop down and it was all padded. So we were able to function like that for a while. How are you able to balance all that stuff? I think your husband's a stay-at-home. Didn't he take care of the baby and stuff? Or is he able to travel with you much?
So he is a firefighter, which is awesome because his schedule is like 1 day on, 2 days off.
Yeah.
And so like I don't go to town and write on the days that he's on shifts, which has been super great. It's forcing like quality over quantity, which I love. But as far as going on the road, like he'll do a shift trade and then either stay or come with me depending on the show. We have been really blessed with the way our schedules have worked out. I know some people don't necessarily have that luxury. But it's been good.
It's a hard thing to balance, trying to balance a family. And this particular career, I know from the outside looking in, it looks very glamorous and all those things, but it's a grind. I mean, you're out on the road, you're brushing your teeth in truck stops sometimes. I mean, I've been through all the different stages of it over the years, and I'm blessed to be at a different plateau at this stage of my life. But it's hard to balance all that stuff, trying to raise a family and navigate a career, and things are growing and changing, and your schedule is up for debate any time. I mean, things can change at the drop of a hat on any given day.
I think one thing that has just been solid throughout this, this journey of having a daughter and doing the damn thing, is it's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. Like literally there's times where, Lindsey will be like, we have this opportunity. Something gets figured out, whether it's I budget in to get my mother-in-law to come down to watch Sterling while I go, something always works out. And I truly believe it's like, all right, if God has set my path straight, he's going to make sure that Sterling can get watched or I'm able to bring her or whatever. And I've been blessed too, with, especially when opening for people, they've been so cool about you got everything you need for you and baby, like
Yeah.
it's super cool. I really have had a great experience with it.
I remember when we were planning our family, my wife and I remember laying in the bed and we'd talk about, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And I remember that I didn't like the way my parents did this when I
Oh,
was
yeah.
little, and we're not going to make these same mistakes. As soon as that kid gets there, all that shit goes out the window.
Oh, yeah.
Because all the
Oh, yeah.
things you think you got figured out, God's just sitting up there laughing at
Laughing.
you. Lad, yeah, let's see how that works out for
Oh,
you.
yeah, totally.
Because it's like everything we thought we had figured out just kind of went up in smoke.
Oh, yeah.
And then the kids start dictating completely everything going on
Oh,
in your
yeah.
life.
And repeating all the cuss words you say. Good Lord, we're in that.
I don't say cuss words. Only Lindsey says cuss words.
Yeah. No, I'm bad. I'm getting better. But I think, what's so funny is I say so many of them that she's not repeating it because it's not a weird word. Like, she says stuff that's not a cuss word that, like, I said dadgum when on the phone with my mom the other day. She goes, dadgum. I'm like, that's the word you pick up? Of all the bad words I say, you just said dadgum. I'm like, I love it.
I love it. That's great. So I know you've been in town for a long time. You've got a new project. What's the name of the project?
It's just self-titled, Kasey Tyndall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where are we at as far as releases, as far as what's going on career wise? I want to touch on where you're at right now, and then I want to backtrack and go through some of the process of the years that it's taken to get you where you are.
Woo. Yeah, we just put out a self-titled album. I guess about a month ago, Lindsey? I think 2 months.
2.
Holy crap!
God, time flies.
Woo. I don't know when it was, but it was great. It's been a long time coming. I finally signed a record deal, which has been
Awesome.
Just being able to put out music is what I'm here for, And so this record was different. I've been in town for 10 years. I've been putting out music for that long, and the one thing I wanted to make sure that I did for this album, I didn't necessarily have a theme. Sometimes records have a theme. This one didn't have a theme, but I wanted every song to be able to relate to my life somehow. Like, I didn't want any songs about breakups because I'm happily married with a baby. I wanted to be as authentic as possible to, I don't want to say reintroduce myself to the world, but kind of.
Yeah.
And I'm not like the influencer type. So that's felt like the only way to really get across who I am and really give the listeners a picture of who I am. So we just had the best time writing and making this record, and it's out, and it's been great. It's been great.
I've had a chance to write with you once, and I
Yes.
must say that you are. I'm very impressed. You're very talented. You're a good musician. You write good melodies. You're a good word person.
Thank
It
you.
was a very wonderful experience. I look forward to doing it again
I know, I'm
in the
stoked.
very near future.
Well, I
Because I
appreciate
was
that.
very impressed. You are very good at your craft.
Thank
Yeah,
you. That
really
means a
are.
whole lot.
Yeah.
That means a whole lot.
And I know that you put a lot of time in, and it's. As a songwriter, one of the things that I struggled with, and I'm sure you've been down this road too, when I first came to town, you write from a very personal place.
Yeah.
And being rejected for things that you think are really good, that are really a piece of your soul, that's a painful thing to learn to process, to learn to kind of get past as a struggling songwriter that's moving forward with your career. It's one thing to cut your own things, but when you start putting your work out there and pitching things to other artists, and
Yeah.
publishers shoot you down and artists shoot you down, you have to toughen up real quick.
Yeah.
And I've learned over the years that you have to learn to get your personal feelings out of the way a little bit. How do you navigate that? And because it's a very personal thing. It really is. It's a hard thing to separate yourself from. You can say it's easy. Well, once I did it, get it done, and I turn it in and everything. But when sometimes you write those personal things and they cut when they get rejected.
I mean, trial and error. I used to get a little butthurt about it at the beginning when that stuff would happen. But honestly, I just have no expectations when I turn songs in. I'm like, they're probably not even going to listen to it. Might get a response, probably not. And it's just changed so much as far as as a songwriter getting cuts. You got to write with the artist or know them well enough to send it to them. And so it's kind of, it's that business pill. You got to swallow it. Just is what it is. But when it comes to being an artist and just say I write a song, I'm like, this has to be on the record. You have your business and you have your team that's going, okay, but from a marketing standpoint, And that's where it gets a little hard. It's like, okay, I get it, but
how many things did you write working toward this album that you just released now that for one reason or another didn't fit that box that you were trying to set yourself in from a personal standpoint? Because everything, you get in songwriting groups, you write co-writes and things, and sometimes things take a different direction, and that's the great thing about collaboration. It's not all about you have your input, they have their input, and it starts to take shape, and there's personal things in it. Sometimes it's abstract, sometimes you're visualizing something that you heard a story from somebody else, so it's not always so personal. How many things did you have to leave out that didn't fit that box?
Quite a few. Luckily, having such a narrow direction that I wanted to take with it, it helped be able to let go of some songs that I really loved, that I could have seen on this, on this project. I was lucky in that sense. I was able to go, it really doesn't go with it. I'm cool with letting that go. But there were quite a few songs that I was like, man, this is just such a great song and deserves to be heard. But it was easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Are you back on the road yet? Are you touring heavy right now?
I mean, I'm just kind of, I'm on the Megan Maroney tour.
Okay.
This year we've done Ella dates, Ian Munsick dates. We're kind of just popping around, but also I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but we're going to try to dabble in doing my own.
Yeah.
That's time. I've been so thankful I get to open for tons of people, and I'm so thankful, but I'm ready to. It's a scary thing to make that leap.
It is. As you look at the landscape of the country, where do you perceive your hot spot, and where's your cold spot?
I'll be honest. I mean, it's so random. I've got a lot, which is weird. I have like a little hot spot in like Houston, and then I have like a little hot spot in Atlanta. It really is random.
So it's not a regional thing that you've noticed yet?
No, not yet. But I mean, recently there's been a ton in Australia, like tons of listeners in Australia. Super weird. Awesome. Super awesome. But yeah, we're just we're just starting to we're just jumping into that, like seeing what we can do, how we can do it. But I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, because you really have to start looking at all those analytics, especially if you're going out and doing clubs or you're doing theaters or whatever. You got it because it's not always the same from spot to spot as you go. You do have things that kind of move around, hot spots, cold spots, things where even at this stage, I know guys from my era back in the 90s, there are places, like the Hodag Festival. We're talking about Neil McCoy. Neil McCoy's he's like a superstar there, and then he's got places he doesn't sell very well.
Right,
it's just kind of random as you work around the country.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that ever really changes unless you get up to that super that elite level way up the top where you're filling out arenas and stadiums and stuff. I don't think that ever changes.
Totally. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I'm scared. I am scared of all right, we're doing a show and get there and there's 5 people.
It's all wonderful, but at the end of the day, you still have overhead, you still have expenses, you still got people that you have to pay, you still got to make a living, so you can't go out there and do it just for the love of the crowd.
Right. Totally.
Living on love don't work.
Totally. And that's, we're working through all that. But yeah, I mean, the festivals are popping up. We were so focused on getting this record out, and now we're like, all right, let's get back on the road, like hardcore.
So with Australia popping up, you think that might be a destination? I mean, it's.
I hope so.
That could be awesome.
Yeah, we're hoping so. That, and I've never been anywhere but America. So
where are you from originally?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Towards the beach. Yep.
Oh,
Greenville.
Yeah. Pretty country up there.
It is pretty. I do love North Carolina. I definitely don't think I could ever move back, but I love it. I love being from there.
Small town?
Small town. Mm-hmm.
What was the population?
I don't even know. My whole family kind of lived in this crossroads, and there was the church, and then up the road was Piggly
Like 200 or
Wiggly.
300 people, or 1,000, or.
And technically, in this little place, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I always had to say I was from Rocky Mount, which was like the next. I want to say bigger town. It's not even a big town, but bigger town over. But technically, yeah, I'm from Temperance Hall, North Carolina. It's just tiny little crossroads. My whole dad's side of the family's there. My mom's side lives, 15 minutes up the road, and it's a great place to grow up.
Siblings?
I have one sister, and then I have 3 stepbrothers and a stepsister.
Yep. And what do they all do?
2 of them are grown. You know, they were grown when my mom and stepdad got married. And then my 2 stepbrothers on my dad's side, they're, you know, one's about to graduate college, one's doing construction. Just
Were they musical at all? Did you grow up with music in the household, or?
not at all.
Really?
Nobody can carry a tune in a bucket but me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up with it either. I always felt it very strange. I had one younger sister that sang, but you know, we didn't sit around and play piano with Mama at the holidays or any of that stuff. You know, it was
would've
just
been bad.
even when I'd take trips with Dad. Dad didn't even like the radio on in the car. I
Oh,
never
wow.
understood it. It was just one of those strange things.
Wow.
I just you know, it's like it's weird how sometimes a person just pops out with this just thing in your gut that you just can't escape from. I remember when I moved to Nashville. I moved here in '90, and I've told this story many times, but I'd played in a couple of bands and kind of bounced around and worked the circuit and different things. And when I got to Nashville, I remember coming to town, and I started going to the little honky tonks and the places that the road musicians and the songwriters hung out. And it just dawned on me that all of a sudden I found all these people that were just like me, and I'd never known that before.
Yep.
And it was very soothing because I felt like I'd finally found my home.
Yep.
Did you feel that way when you got here?
I did, because people started feeling like normal.
It's like I'm not weird
I'm
anymore.
not weird anymore.
Yeah.
But not that I was weird back home. It was just you think different. And I definitely I was lucky. Like when I moved here, I got like a group of girlfriends that were still all like best friends. And you know, when you don't have family here, it's important to find those people, which I know you did as well.
Yeah.
But I was lucky. I found them pretty quickly. So I've had family here, and yeah, I felt normal, and I felt like I could collaborate over dinner, you know? So yeah, super, super grateful for that.
You know, I don't know if there's a true misconception, but, you know, when I got to town, you know, I think some people show up in town and think that there's like a frat house where all the musicians go and hang out in, that there's like a hostel where all the songwriters go, and there's this place. It's not like that here. It's really not. When you first got here, what did you do first? Where did you land? What part of town did you land in? What were the first things that you did? Did you find a job first? What was the first things that you did to get stabilized?
So right before I moved here, I wasn't even planning on doing this. I wanted to do it, but sometimes I'm too realistic, especially with my dreams. I was working 3 jobs, going to college. I played like a cousin's festival, you know, acoustic here and there, but I didn't know how to do it. I was like, everybody wants to move to Nashville to be a freaking big star. I don't know how to do that, so I'm not. So I was going to school to be a nurse. And then I won this contest to sing with Keith Urban out in Raleigh at Walnut Creek. Well, it's not called that now. I don't even know what it's called, but to sing with him. He didn't have any females on the tour at that time to sing the duet with Miranda, We Were Us. So he had the radio station, genius move, had the radio stations hold a contest, and I won. And it was like one thing led to the other. So I like met my first manager from that, and then moved to Nashville with a girl named Mandolin Monchik. She manages Lainey. And we moved to Bellevue. And we got an apartment. We thought we were only going to be here for a summer. We were just trying it out, you know. And I ended up signing a publishing deal with Sony. I don't know how long in, not even a year. I was very, very thankful for that. And that kept me here. And so here we are.
So a lot of people don't understand when you sign a publishing deal. So let's kind of go through that process, because as young people that are aspiring to come to Nashville, look at the landscape. When you sign a publishing deal, the way that most of it works typically is if you have several songs and you're pitching stuff around, or publishers hear about you, go to writers' nights or whatever, and people start picking up on what you're doing. They will say, okay, I want to sign you to a publishing deal, and I'm going to pay you $300 or $400 a week or whatever it is. And then they're going to take your publishing and you keep your writer. So there's 200% to a song. There's 100% publishing and 100% writer. So they're going to say, I want you to write, I need 10 whole songs, or what was your deal?
12.
You had 12 songs a year.
Which is not 12. It's most of the time there's 3 co-writers in the room at
two
least.
or three, and that either thirds it or halves it,
Yep.
and that also halves the publishing. Whatever that situation is, you're either turning in a third or a half or whatever. And I typically won't write more than 3 people.
Oh, yeah.
That it's just too much. But then you have to mathematically equate that,
Yep.
and so you have to turn your quota in a year, and then. When you get a cut, they will take what your draw is. That's what they're paying you back out, and that pays for the expenses of the demos, the work tapes, or whatever it is. And so you really don't get paid until you get recouped from all that stuff. So you want to get cuts, B-sides, hopefully singles along the way. So it's a very confusing process.
It is. And when I first moved here, we had started working like on the side for a catering company to get by. And then I would drive back to North Carolina every other weekend to play like in the corner of some restaurant bar to make ends meet. And then, signing my pub deal, I remember when we walked in for the meeting where they offered me my deal, I had just sent my part of the rent and I had $2.32 in my account. And then they offered me a deal and I was like, all right, here we
Sounds
go.
good to me.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, it's been a fun journey. It's been a lot of, I was a road dog for a long time. I would play, the first year I was here, I did an insane amount of shows. It would be playing a shithole one night to be able to afford to go open for Granger Smith or Kane Brown the next night. And I love those years, but I'm definitely glad to be at a place now where I don't have to, I've paid my dues.
Yeah, you paid your dues. What's the scene like downtown? Because I miss it's different now than what it was when I got to town. As far as where people hang out, how you make your money downtown, where you playing gigs on Lower Broad. It's a whole different scene than what I came into.
I did not play on Broadway. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It's great. People make way more money than I did playing down there. I would just go kind of everywhere. And I also had teamed up with WME, which is a booking agency, not long after I got here, and they kind of kept me busy everywhere. But for someone like me who's a songwriter and an artist, the biggest way to kind of grow here since I've been here is writer rounds. Is just going, networking. You kind of come up through the ranks, like the pecking order, through meeting people through that. And those are some of my favorite memories, is getting to play with some extremely talented people. One of the saddest things about this town is I'd be playing with somebody I didn't know that had the best songs I ever heard that will never will never see the light of day.
Yeah.
It's so sad, but it's so awesome. But yeah, did that for a while, and I still love to do it.
I would like to see some things change in the industry too. Back in the 90s, and I know I'm dating myself, but I'm trying to lay some groundwork for people to understand. Back then, when my career started, we were getting, to get a record to the top of the charts took about 12 to 14 weeks to get to number one. And that was pretty systematic for most people. Mm-hmm. So I was getting 4 singles a year, at least 2 to 3 videos per album. I was cutting an album every year to year and a half, parlaying those things into each other. By the time I got to the end of my 10 years, I had a body of work that was pretty substantial.
Yeah.
The last number one that I had, which was Find Out Who Your Friends Are in 2007, was on the charts for 52 weeks. I hired 2 promotion teams to work that as an independent record label. It took forever to get that record up the charts. It's just, I would like to see the charts open up. I think there's like 18 currents on the playlist right now. And when you look at the top 40, when I say 18 currents, there's 18 current songs that are being worked up. And once they get up, they blow off, so they have to work back down. So you don't have a lot of space to play with when you're competing against major labels with the Luke Bryans and the Luke Combs and the Jason Aldeans and the Miranda Lamberts and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You add all those people up that are working current projects, it's really hard to break a new act.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to see that playlist expand to about 25.
Yeah.
I would like to see them speed the chart process up again instead of dragging along so much, so an artist could build a body of work that way as they got to the end of their 10 or 20 years of radio life, that you have a substantial body of work that you can go out and play a full show.
Yeah.
When you only get 1 single a year, it's really hard to do that.
Yeah. And I could be wrong, and Lindsey, pop my hand if I'm wrong, but I feel like before COVID, you had to go do these extensive, very, crazy radio tours.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're gone for 3-4 months, and
And up
and
at
it's
5:30
up
and
at
doing morning
5.
shows, singing early in the morning, going in and playing for people that could give a crap list that you're there.
And then and then go, you take the PD out the next, out to dinner, and you're not going to bed till late, and then you do it all over again, and you're kind of killing yourself. But I mean, all for a good reason.
Oh, yeah.
But then after COVID, it still happens, but if you blow up real big, you don't necessarily have to do that, because it's like, oh, that's the biggest person in country music right now, we're gonna play him. And I could be wrong. I could be so wrong on that. But I feel like it's gonna keep changing a little bit. Like, I feel like when I got to town, listening to my friends that had deals and were going to radio versus now, I feel like it has changed a little bit, but who knows? I'm not at the place to go to country radio yet, but when I do, I'm so thankful that I have like a bunch of friends that are there now, and that can kind of give me the ins
Help
and
you
outs.
navigate the water.
Yeah.
And it was even different back then. Do you remember the name Elliot Spitzer? He was the Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General. Or maybe he was the Attorney General from New York State. Anyway, back when they broke me in the early 90s, we did 4 showcases. We didn't do radio station visits like what y'all do now. We did 4 showcases. I did one in Marina Del Rey. That was where that West Coast regional was. I did one in Dallas. I did one in New York City, and I did one in Atlanta. So they were broken up in 4 regions. We had 4 regionals and a national promotion director.
Wow.
So what we would do is we would fly all the radio people in, the PDs,
Yeah.
the music director, and we had 2 or 3 artists from the record label that they were trying to break, and we set up in a banquet hall at a big hotel, and we brought everybody in. They wined and dined them for a couple of days, and then they all went back. Well, Elliot Spitzer decided that was payola, and they completely broke that whole business model apart from outside. The government did that.
What?
Yes. And then they made us all start going individually and going to every individual radio station
Wow.
after that. So
kinda
it all
blows my
changed.
mind.
Yeah, it really does.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's hopefully, I would like to see it get back to more of that, where the artists aren't killing themselves and you make more. It's like a little mini CRS or something, where you'd
Yeah.
go and then you would,
I love CRS.
and they would bring, you'd have all these different stations that would come in and their top jocks and everything. You were meeting people,
Yeah.
but it was all consolidated in one place. And then everybody went back to their business. You weren't trying to kill yourself out there running around doing all this other stuff.
Totally. And I think that's something, it's like, yeah, artists actually kill themselves doing certain stuff like that, and it's like, whoa, oh my gosh, that is unhealthy, so it's like trying to get to like that balance, but also like,
Do you
gotta what
find
you
it
gotta
okay to say no?
after I had a kid, yes. Before, no.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not, quite at that level of like going to radio, but just in general, with the business, once I had my daughter and met my husband, I am so protective over my peace and that balance. And I truly believe I can reach a really high level and have that balance. And that's something that I feel like I'm clawing on to tooth and nail, because I have had friends that I have watched just absolutely kill themselves and it is so sad to watch. That's something that the fans don't see. I mean, it's more than just missing birthday parties, and no, this is sacrificing your body. This is sacrificing your mind. And so, I also have a family to protect. So I just feel like I have been able to say no. But it's also, I have a wonderful team, as you know, that they respect that also. And there's like, yes, there is a way. We can do this and be healthy about it.
You can be. And then there's the other side of it, where you feel like when the opportunities start to
Yes.
come, that if I turn them down, these opportunities may not come back again.
Right. And when
so
I get
there's-
to that level, I feel like I do feel like I'll have to grapple with that. And that's going to be fine when we get there. I love it. But I have, for where I'm at, been able to go, okay, what is serving me? What is serving my team? What makes sense? I mean, the quality over quantity thing has been
It's huge.
so huge. I mean,
I didn't find that when I was your age. It took me a
Well,
long time to get there, because
and-
I just wanted to grind it out, just stay out
Yeah.
here, just stay out here all the time.
And before having my daughter, honestly, I would have kept doing that.
Yeah.
And who knows what would have happened. But when I When we started making that the focus, and I actually kind of slowed down a second, my numbers grew, more opportunities came. I mean, also I'm a believer in babies bring blessings, but I mean, it was amazing to watch.
But sometimes you have to turn things down to get better opportunities.
Yeah.
I think, and social media plays a big factor into all this stuff too. And I know you brought up the fact that you're not at that radio spot yet, and you're going to get there. These things are going to come. I know
In Jesus' name.
I know they are. But social media adds a whole new dynamic to those things. How much relevance are you putting on that? How much time do you dedicate to it daily, weekly, monthly, as far as your social media presence? Where your numbers at? I mean, how do you analyze all that?
I mean, it is probably. I mean, I don't want to say unfortunately, but kind of it is the biggest part.
Yeah.
Just because that's how we're getting new fans. I've had one viral moment with a song called Dirt Road to Hell. And it was awesome. It got me almost 200,000 followers on TikTok, which is great. But, you're also fighting algorithms. Like I might have 188,000 followers on TikTok, but my views are only 1,000 on a video. So it's kind of, you're fighting this invisible thing that nobody actually knows. Everyone thinks they know how the algorithm works, but they really don't, and it changes, and it's annoying. But we still do it because we know that it's important. And if that means I get one new fan that day, like that's awesome. And we have a plan with it. I like to film everything ahead of time, and then my team helps me kind of get it up and help navigate that, because I'm not the biggest influencer. Like I can't just throw my phone up and be like da 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 da. Like it's just it's not me. But we're taking me and making it social media. You know what I mean?
Do you schedule times? Because I do that. I mean, they are like, okay, we need a day. I know you hate doing this stuff. We need a day, and we're going to come out. We're going to do 2 or 3, 4 hours of content.
Yep.
Play some songs. Do this, that. Dance for Granny. Do all that stuff.
That's me.
I'm not a person that's going to post every day. It interrupts my life. I'm not comfortable with it. I didn't grow up with it. It's not something that I can do on a regular basis like that.
Yeah, and it's friction for me. Like, because I'm just, how do you take a private person and blast it to the whole world? Like that's what we're still trying to find that balance, and I think we're doing a great job.
I'm not good with doing stupid stuff either.
Me neither. I have to be caught doing it.
Yeah.
Like if
it's staged, it doesn't feel organic to me.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm freaking hilarious when I'm not trying to be.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to be, not funny at all. Not interesting. Like I am plain Jane as it gets. So we try to budget to take like a camera person out, and I just tell them, just film. Like, don't stop, because that's where we're going to get our gold right there. And then, you're, as like y'all do with this podcast too, like to get people like interested to go listen to it, you got to find a clip to cut out, to post that gets people's attention. That's like, all right, and that's how we have to do it with our music. It's like, what can we do to be interesting, or maybe just get a little uncomfortable to make people go and listen to the music. And it's a ever changing process. I feel like one day we're like, yes, this is working, and then we're like, oh, okay, we got to pivot and we got to focus on this kind of video or this, and with booking shows right now, we're really pushing live videos so that promoters can see, hey, I can sell alcohol, and hey, I can come put on a damn good show for you and put some butts in seats, and so there's a lot of planning with that as well. So
yeah, that's a very important thing. People don't realize when you start going out and working clubs, they don't really care about your show.
No.
They care about whether or not you can sell alcohol.
Exactly.
That is your job as the person standing on that stage. You're there to sell booze, because they're going to break even on what they pay you, basically. They make their money at the bar.
That's right.
That's just the way it is.
And I'm lucky, like, as far as I do feel like I put on kind of a party show, which is fun.
Yeah.
And
well, you rock hard.
And we rock, and we have a good time. And so I'm lucky in that sense. But that's we put a lot of intention into these videos and what we're posting at the time that we're posting them. And Lindsey, I feel like we're just going to talk about you a lot. Lindsey's the bomb. She's our mom. And she's so good at being like thinking of those things because I don't. I just think of like, man, I sang that really good. We should post that. And she's like, okay, but we just posted that song 2 days ago and we need to try to get a show here. So let's do this type of video. Like, I just don't think that way. And that's why it's so important to have like a badass team.
Well, and I go through and I watch stuff. It's like the Castellos.
Yeah, the Castellos. They're awesome.
They'll do 10 different versions of a song.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're posting stuff every day, constantly, all the time. It's like they're posting constantly.
And they're so good. I could watch their content all day.
They're like little babies.
They are. And they do the same types of videos every day. And I love it. And I also, like, speaking of them, I love looking at different people's socials and trying to pick what do I like that they're doing and what do I like that they're doing and try to, like, come up with this, put a bow on it. And that's our goal, I feel like, every day.
I remember when I first got to town, I keep doing that.
I love it.
But, the relationships that I made, me and Tim and McGraw and Kenny Chesney became friends early on, and we hung out together a lot. And I know you've got some of those deep-seated relationships, and Lainey has exploded on the scene.
Oh, yes.
It's been pretty amazing to watch just the evolution of her career because I met her in the early stages before she really exploded.
Yep.
In 2020, she was opening for me and Justin Moore. We were doing a co-headline deal.
We were still roommates at that time. I remember her packing up that freaking F-150 and trailer and heading out.
Playing her guitar, coming out and doing about 20, 30 minutes by herself.
Yep.
And then COVID hit, and it shut everything down. And over the next couple of years, you watch the evolution of her as she really took off and where she's at now. I don't think there's a hotter artist in the country right now. I just noticed her Whataburger billboard on the interstate yesterday. It's like she is raking it in now.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. And because, we were roommates for like 5 or 6 years.
Well, who was the other? There was 2 or 3 other people.
Yeah, so it was me, her, and Mandolin for a while.
Did y'all write a lot? Were y'all just sitting around
Honestly,
writing a lot?
You would think that we did. And we did a little bit. Like one of my favorite songs I've ever written, Middleman, it was just me and her on the back porch during COVID. Just like couldn't go nowhere, so let's write a song. Yeah. But we're such good friends that we have to have a third. We couldn't write at our house because we would just want to cut up and talk. And so the song never got written kind of thing. And so we have to force ourselves to sit down with somebody that's not in our girl group. Like it has to be just another writer that we love and respect to keep us on track, especially these days. And it's rare that we get to write, but when we do, we just want to catch up. So it's like, no. Yeah. We're here. We got to write today. But yeah, she is, it was so awesome getting to watch her rise because, a lot of people I love when people go, she exploded overnight. No, she did not. Holy
shit. She paid her freaking dues.
Dude, yeah, it was like 10 years of riding around and playing shitholes and
windshield time, going to crappy gigs and opening up when nobody even cared about you or wanted to hear you and not making any money. I mean, all of it.
And also, when she signed her deal, I think it was I can't remember if it was 2018 or 2019 that she signed her record deal. COVID happened after they're pushing a radio single. And so then this was so great. And I think about these moments when I get frustrated with social media, that's when TikTok happened. And so she had to do a 180 on a business model, and she leaned in, she grabbed that bull by the horns. And I mean, she just,
people don't realize how hard it is to get momentum. You're a commodity, you're a brand as they're trying to launch an artist, trying to break an artist into the mainstream. And it's so hard to get separation from all the other stuff that's out there. When you are able to start to get traction, you get on a tour and you're getting some things going, you're getting recognized by radio. When you lose that momentum, it's 10 times harder to start it again. It is so hard to do it a second time. It's like catching lightning in a bottle twice.
And she, like I said, she was like, all right, y'all want me to make 18 videos a day? She'd go lock herself in her room. She'd knock them out. Probably hated every minute of it.
She got me in down bell bottoms.
She got you in bell bottoms. That was hilarious. I'm sad that, I don't know if I had moved out yet at that point. I can't remember. But, I missed that.
Yeah.
That was so funny. That was amazing.
I'll do it for you.
Dude, that whole video was great. But yeah, I mean, I try to go back to those days when I get frustrated with not feeling like I can really do social media well, and just remember, like, hey, remember how she did that 180 and freaking went after it? You can do that too. And yeah, and also just having, like, now that she's exploded, like, having her advice on a bunch of stuff has been so awesome. So awesome. And
It's got
our
to be
whole
great
friend
inside.
group right now, I mean, Megan Patrick, she's, I think, top 50 now with her first radio single, and watching her grind for that, it was a little bit different than Lainey's, because, you know, like I said, Lainey's was like right before, during COVID, and Megan's is now. It's different. And she's a Canadian artist, which is, I think, is kind of hard to be a Canadian artist and come here and have to start over. Like, Megan had success. She had #1. She was Female Artist of the Year up there. And then she comes here and she has to start over. And so watching her has been fun, and getting all of her tips and tricks right now with going to radio. And man, it is so great. I love my group of girls. I mean, just everybody's in such different lanes and different places, and it's just fun to just put it all together, you know.
It really is. It's funny to watch everybody's journey, and fun to watch. And I've always been proud for everybody's success.
Yes.
You know, I feel like some of that camaraderie is really coming back to Nashville, and I may be. I may not be on point with that. Maybe it's a little bit more cutthroat than I think it is. But I think true artists that are truly in it genuinely for the craft are less intimidated by the people that are doing the same things. We're less jealous of other people's success. If you're genuinely doing it for the right reasons, there's no animosity. Does that make sense?
That's true. I think there is a tiny bit of, like, I mean, we're all competitive, and unfortunately,
But that's different than being jealous.
right. And I'm not like crazy feminist, but it's slightly harder for girls. We have fewer lanes. You know, if there's like a rock chick over at this label, you're not going to that label. It's just, but boys, I feel like there could be like 1,000 of the same type of dude. It's a little bit harder. And so there are some times where you're like, you get a tad bit jealous, but when you find your group of people that you get your village, and you kind of talk each other off a bunch of cliffs. I mean, there's been so many times I'll call one of them and just be like, I'm about to sound real dumb and real awful, but I just got to say this, and just talk me off a ledge here. And that is so important in this business.
So if I had the money to open my own imprint with distribution and everything, the way that I would build my roster, I would have a solo male artist, a solo female artist, and let's break it down into the categories that the award shows give you.
Oh, yeah.
Group, duo, male, female. Those are the things that you want to structure. That's how you build the basic nuts and bolts of your roster, because you want to be able to get yourself targeted and positioned in those award shows.
Well, and you think about it, like with these award shows, when they have multiple artists that are in the same category, they have to decide who we put in what basket are we putting our eggs in. It's kind of messed up, and you're
really
like,
is. And so, and it's easier to navigate more male artists on a roster, and I think it's a little bit easier. I do agree that the lane is a little bit narrower, but I think there's more space on the format now.
Yes,
than what there used to be.
Thank God, and thanks to people like Miranda and Lainey
for breaking those walls down,
dude, for busting it wide open. And so, yes, I agree. It is. Thank goodness. I mean, when I first moved to town, it was a lot harder than it is now. And I'm so thankful.
Do you think a lot of that is because my point about referencing how I would structure a record label around what the award show awards were? Now that social media plays such a huge factor in that, and that you can build a fan base, and you can actually sell records, and you can sell streams and downloads and all those things that help build a little bit more around a brand of an artist. You don't have to have those industry manufactured things as much. They can help position you to get to that place.
Yes.
But I don't think they're they don't control the whole destiny of the music industry anymore.
Which is awesome. And
Yes,
I feel like
is.
it's forcing I feel like for a little while it was like, oh, now they're just signing anything that goes viral, but that has been going on for so long that now it's actually really getting back to the music too, which is great. And it's both. Like, what I love about social media is that, yes, it helps put that bow on top to be able to, like, really present your craft and what you're doing to the right audiences.
Did the social media stuff help you with your record deal that you had?
I'm Actually, like, yes, but my label, I was on a playlist. My song Jesus and Joan Jett just never fell off of the Country Rocks playlist on Spotify, which is like super cool. And I think they just were like, we want a rock country female. And they went and they found me, which was sick. I mean, when we were in talks with them, they never mentioned the word TikTok. Which is wild, you know, but they're like me. They use it as a tool, not the end all be all. And I think, you know, finding that balance is so important. And there's some artists that like that is the end all be all, and that's great for that artist. It depends on the artist, and I feel like the industry too is opening up now to like, okay, not everybody is that route, and yes, we can still sell tickets for someone who is not viral or
I agree.
And so I think it's all about that balance.
I think it's a lot easier to just give yourself completely to the industry when you're young, before you have responsibilities and a family and all that. And then, like you said, you have a child and you start to put some boundaries up.
And it's awesome. It really has been better.
And it's so much healthier for you as a human being once you establish boundaries for yourself. I mean, because if you allow people to pull and stretch and take advantage of you, all for the sake of trying to achieve a career, I mean, they will pick you to pieces.
100%.
It's exhausting.
And sometimes people don't give enough credit to the fans. They can sniff out when you're not being authentic.
Oh, yeah.
They can sniff it out. And it's one of the things about Lainey that I feel like really exploded, was because she is exactly like on stage, off stage, what you see, what you don't see, the exact same.
And so's Luke Bryan. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are. I mean, you can list a lot of them that really are genuinely who they say they
Luke
are.
Combs.
Most of us come from small towns. I mean, we didn't grow up in the big city. I mean, we came from small places where we grew up dreaming about this.
100%.
Singing in the shower and all those things that we all do.
Yeah, and I just back to the when you have a family thing, like I said, it's not like I'm just saying no to everything, but it is just so, man, it has made things so great to have that put on the brakes and go, we're gonna do this the right way. I mean, just it's been so great.
Let's talk musically a little bit. I want to get into your brain about how you approach your studio and your session work and all those things. How hands are you on your production stuff when you do your demos? Are you taking demos and parlaying them into masters? Are you co-producing your stuff in the studio? Give me how your lay of the land studio wise.
Honestly, with this album, Derek Wells is my producer, and nowadays, like, a track guy in a co-write can make you a record-sounding demo. And to me, sometimes it's like the business folks need to hear that to see if it's worth cutting. But then you go in the studio and there's not much room for imagination because the song is kind of already done. And so some people will just give producer credit to the person that did the track if it's like, if everybody's kind of in love with that. But I have kind of peeled back. I've been asking people like, hey, can we just do a guitar vocal? Because I want Derek and the guys to be able to go in and make, create it. And I've been kind of lucky, like with him, I never have notes. Like, he just kind of nails it. So I don't really have like a ton of, I'll just kind of tell him the direction that I hear it. Like, I'll give some reference songs maybe. But really, they just go. Like, it's just great.
So you're not going in and doing pre-production like doing demos of everything that you're doing on the record. You're just coming in with work tapes and y'all are charting things out.
Yep.
Really?
And me and him will kind of do like a pre-production like phone call and just kind of be like, so, what do you think about this little section? You think big or small? Like, it's very broad. And then when it's time to go in, they'll just try stuff out. I'll say yay or nay, but I always say yes because it's always great. Yeah. And then my process is pretty simple.
Do y'all take into consideration what you're carrying with you on the road so you can recreate that record live at the stage of where you're at?
Yeah, I'm such a like rock band type of thing. It's just
4-piece kind of thing.
We are
because I know you can go in the studio early on and you can overproduce some things that a brand new artist that's just getting traction. You go out there and you don't have the money to have the players, the resources to have the layering of instrumentation, all the things that you need, and you can lose yourself in that.
I don't use tracks.
Yep.
on the road. Will I? I might have to as it gets huge and to fill some stuff out, but I'd rather just add another band member. But also it depends on where I'm at financially.
I struggle with that too. I've never done the track thing.
Well, I mean, I went on the road with Ashley McBride for a little while, and she doesn't use tracks, and the band is just so tight. It sounds like there are it is so freaking.
I don't
good.
understand. I mean, from a musician standpoint, I know you can get more bottom end out of it, but I'd really, other than the fact when I go see people that are doing it and there's 4 people on the stage and it sounds like there's an orchestra behind them, that irritates the crap out of me.
One thing I can't stand. We went to CMA Fest. I'm not going to say the artist, but he was one of the guys playing at night. So, I mean, he's killing it right now. But there's an acoustic guitar that started the song out, and there's not an acoustic player on stage.
Well,
you're in Nashville, dude. You could get somebody up there to just pantomime for free.
But it's
really.
Well, maybe it's so expensive. Holy crap!
To have an acoustic coming out of the speakers, but no one's even playing the thing.
Well, and most people, we're the only people that notice that stuff. Of course, I pick it apart like that too.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk to my sister who went to a show.
Didn't even know.
Didn't give a shit. And it's like, all right, cool.
Now, see, what doesn't bother me, like if you're going to add bigger low end, and you're going to do a low end track along with it, or you're going to add some air and string arrangements and things that you can't obviously bring an orchestra, and it's too hard for one keyboard player to do a full string round and play piano at the same time, or you're layering in background vocals. But my problem that I have is I might want to change direction in the middle of a freaking show.
That's my problem.
And it locks me into a place where I have no freedom to change my mind if I want to do something different, because sonically it's going to change. It throws the band off. It throws the front of house guys off that are punching the track and doing setting the time code. It's just too much for me.
Me and you both, the way we got going was we had to go to these hole in the walls and convince people to like us. Yeah. So that means shifting. That means I'm going to cut up with you while this solo is happening, or let's bring it down before the bridge and freaking I'm going to talk and get people to stay and want to keep drinking that beer and listen to what I got to say. And when you blow up, you don't necessarily have to do that. People are there to see you. People are there to watch whatever you have. Yep. And so I think that's kind of the difference, where we're so used to hey guys, we're gonna drag this solo out for forever, and I'm gonna go run in the crowd and give high fives and shit. And it's like, I don't think I'll ever be able to get out of that mindset. So when it is time to do tracks here and there one day, it is going to be difficult for me.
Yeah. I look back on this fondly. When I was playing the club circuit, and you're doing 4 or 5 sets a night, and you're doing all that stuff multiple nights a week. So what I did was I took poster board. I had fluorescent pink and green and yellow and blue. I had 4 of them, and one of them had my ballads on it, one of them had my 2-steps and my waltzes on it, one of them had my rock and roll stuff on it. So I had it laid out, and I laminated it so I didn't have to redo them. I would tell the band what song we were starting with, and I just threw them down the floor. If I spilt beer on them, I just stack them up at the end of the night, and I would learn to read that crowd.
Yep.
If they were a 2-step crowd, I would add more 2-step stuff in. I'll say my rock and roll either for the end of the set or the end of the night, and I would build my show as I went along, and I learned a lot from going through that process.
Especially, when you go to a place for the first time, you're I say the house band, but you're also you're an artist, you're trying to get people to like you. Yeah, if I see if I have 2 slower songs next to each other and people start I'm and my band knew I'd turn around and say something different quick, and they just had to go with it.
If you can feel that you're losing the attention of the crowd, you got to make a change if you're on the wrong path, and having the freedom to do that. I mean, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I question about a lot of these young kids that come into the business that have never gone out there and worked club gigs and worked the road, because there's something that you learn about how to entertain and how to put a show together by going through that process. If you've only done TikTok videos in your bedroom and you've only done karaoke night at the karaoke bar, you really don't know how to do more than 1 or 2 songs at a time. Building a set list and learning to hold people's attention for 90 minutes is a whole art unto itself.
100%. Yeah. And I have friends that they blew up, and that was a challenge, but they have to learn quick. It's like being thrown into the fire. I mean, but like I said, at that point though, they skip to kind of the hard tickets, and people are there to see whatever they have planned for them,
Yeah.
and so it's fine. But yeah, it's like, you know, going back to like it being expensive to, you know, add more band members, this,
yeah.
that. You know, when I'm opening for people, I am blessed that I play guitar well enough that I can be like, hey, are you guys cool if I just come do this by myself? Most camps are like, yeah, she can literally get a crowd warmed up with just her and her guitar.
Yep.
I've been blessed because I know some people can't. And so they have to like turn down stuff. But I'm excited to be able to always bring a band. Like, I'm just ready.
It's fun playing with a band.
I know, it's
It
my
is.
favorite. It's my favorite. But that has taught me a lot too. Like just being you up there with a guitar in front of, I'm about to do it with Megan Maroney. It's gonna be like 6,000 people and just me and a guitar.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I think we are gonna maybe bring one more person out, but like I can do that and I'm thankful. But if a string pops, I hope you make friends with the band so you can go grab their guitar off the side. You know, like it is wild. But I'm thankful for all those years of learning this stuff, so that when it does pop off, I'm gonna be ready.
Yep. And when does that tour start?
First 2 dates are the end of May.
Oh, you got a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
I can tell. It's exciting.
I know she's cool. She's badass.
So, do you
I'm
believe
like,
in Bigfoot?
Ugh, I don't know about Bigfoot.
How about aliens?
I believe in them, not like, you know, I don't believe they're like these green things with big eyes. I'm a very spiritual person. I think it's different realms.
Yeah.
And I think it's,
So, are you familiar with CERN?
what's CERN?
CERN is the Hadron Collider. It's like 2.5 mile long track where they smash particles together and create the Big Bang. It's in Geneva. It's right on the border of Switzerland and France.
Everything happens there.
Yeah, and it's like way underneath the ground, and so they shoot these protons out and they
Oh,
crash
wow.
them into each other, and then they video. They only last like a split second, but they say that's how the Big Bang started. So, and they say that they have actually been able to open up portals to other dimensions through CERN.
I think mushrooms do that too. Like, well, not like
There's our highlight.
for the record, I don't do drugs, but like you hear about
I
people
saute
taking
mushrooms
journeys
all the time.
You know, like people can take these spiritual journeys,
Microdosing.
and they do
Yeah.
it with mushrooms. There has been people that literally, it's like, oh shit, I just unlocked a realm. I think it's all around us. Like I think spiritual warfare is a thing. Like that's me. I'm one of those. But I think it's all around us. We're not meant to see it, but like stuff like that, all of a sudden we can see it.
I've been seeing ghosts my whole life.
Oh hell no!
I've seen them. The last house we
In
lived
Jesus'
in,
name.
we
Ooh.
lived up the road. Evidently, it was built on top of a cemetery, and I just found this out
Shit,
recently. The
no.
house that I rode. And I was standing. My bedroom was upstairs, and I had a master bathroom and everything off of it. And then the attic was above. There was 3 bedrooms upstairs, and then all the lower level and all that. And I was brushing my teeth, and footsteps ran across in
Nope.
the attic above me.
I'd burn
And
that
so
house
I
down.
climbed up in the attic, and there was nothing there. And then another time I stepped out, there was a huge grand staircase in the front with this big massive chandelier. And I opened up the door. I started hearing some creaking and cracking. The chandelier started swinging by itself, and then all the lights in it blew out.
Nope.
Yep.
I would be like, if I even get the weirdest tingle of something weird or demonic, I will walk around and in Jesus' name my whole damn house. I take olive oil and I'll be putting crosses on the door. I'm like, no.
You and my wife, she's got Bible verses written around
Yes.
all the exterior door frames all around the house. There's crosses all over. My wife. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm telling you.
when
You can't bring your
Baphomet.
you can't bring the Baphomet up in there.
No,
Can't
hell
do
no.
it. Mm-mm.
Demons, when demons hear the name of Jesus, they flee. And I'm like, I got a song called Crystal Methodist, and people probably think I don't roll that way, but I do roll that way. I am Jesus lover.
Amen, baby.
Woo.
Amen.
Oh my gosh, that gives me the ghost thing. I'm like, I think it's because I believe so much in like the spiritual realm and that it's just as much bad as it is good. That shit freaks me out. I'm like, hell no, y'all take y'all's ghost and
Well, where you're at right
Woo.
now, this was called the Bass Plantation.
oh
So
Lord.
there are multiple cemeteries around this property. This actually, I was told that this was the wagon trail to Smyrna. There used to be a ferry
Oh
that
wow.
goes across to Hendersonville from this
Oh.
side of town. The ferry would take you across the lake, and this was where the ferry landing would be, and you would get on the wagon trail and come right through this property. So
Whoa.
there was like skirmishes and all kinds of stuff that were here over the years.
Creepy.
Yeah, so there is some unrest here on the property. Since we built our new house, I hadn't seen anything. I don't see
That's
anything
great.
up there.
When I go to like, when I get some money and go get my first piece of property, I'm gonna tell them, do not tell me unless it is like bad, like you're saying, like where that house was on the cemetery or whatever.
Mhm.
Unless it's like that, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
Even growing up, we had an apparition that lived in our house, and it looked like my mother in her nightgown. And there would be times that we would see it when my mother wasn't home, and it would always hang out down at the end of the hall by their bedroom. But the property where that house was had been in my stepfather's family for several generations. He was born there on the property. All of his siblings were born on the property. His grandparents were from there. So there was a lot of family history and some weird stuff that went on there. But I don't know if my mother's seen that. We called her Matilda. We had named her.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So, do you believe in Bigfoot?
I do believe in Bigfoot.
Okay, I gotta know
yeah.
why. I gotta freaking know why.
I believe there are spots in the country that I think there is. I don't know if it's a lost humanoid of some type or some kind of gorilla or something. But I believe there's been too many people that have seen it out there. Think there's been too much documentation. There's no reason for you not to believe it. For me not to believe it, I really
I
believe
guess I
there's
just
more
haven't
out
looked
there.
into it. I guess I just haven't been.
I
like,
go down rabbit holes all the time.
That's so funny. I thought I saw Bigfoot one time. I was deer hunting, and I was hunting this lane that there's a creek that kind of ended the lane, and then it was just woods behind it. And I didn't know that people drifted the creek and hunted. Like they would hop out there, but I didn't know that like at all. And I saw this man in a ghillie suit. It was like, where it was like,
Like the swamp
sun.
creature?
Yes.
Yes.
Like the sun was just down enough where it was like shadows,
Should've
and
shot him.
that's what I'm saying. Look, my thing is, I'm like, this man ought to know better than some scared little girl like me who's deer hunting and sees what she thinks is Bigfoot. Like I was like, I could have shot that man.
Absolutely. You're supposed to have orange on.
No orange,
No
not a
or-
lick
yeah.
of orange, a ghillie suit. So it was just like leaves, and it looked like Bigfoot.
yeah.
It looked like literally just I'm in the middle of nowhere, and this man just goes across. I was like
Okay, so what's the biggest buck you've ever taken?
8 point, but it was nice. And you know how they have like all the scoring system and stuff like that. We didn't do that back home, so I don't really know what it is, but it was like 19 inches wide, and
Oh, a nice buck.
it was nice. Buck. Tomahawk.
I love venison. What's your favorite way to make venison? We do a lot of ground meat. I mean, put it in my chili and my soups
Yeah.
and all my tomato based things, but I love backstrap too.
I know. I'm tied between like deer stew, and I love a good like marinated all day backstrap on the grill. Like,
I like to pan fry mine. I like to tenderize them, and then I will soak them in pit milk because it adds a little bit of sweetness to it.
Okay.
And then just flour them and pan fry them.
oh, okay. I haven't done that one.
Salt and pepper in your flour, maybe a little Cajun seasoning or whatever, and
Wow.
then just I don't even egg wash them.
Wow.
That pit milk is really sweet, and it just adds such a great flavor to that meat.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
We would just like soak it in Italian dressing all day,
Oh yeah.
and I can't remember the other thing we did, and then we would grill a Vidalia onion on the grill with it, and I love it. I love it. I love everything deer meat though. I'm like, I love deer sausage. I'm just like, oh. I'm ready to have a place of my own out here.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to hunt as much, like just the past, or really since I've been here, just because, well, one, schedules, but two, I don't have a place of my own here.
Yeah.
But it's my favorite. Gosh, deer hunting is like it's my favorite hobby that I don't ever get to
Is
do
it
much.
really? More so than fishing or anything else? You just love deer hunting?
I love fishing too. My dad was like, he was almost a pro. I don't know if you call it semi-pro bass, but like he did tournaments and stuff before my time. So he taught us really how to fish. Like I feel like I could go bass fish really well, I think.
Oh yeah. I'm on the catch and eat program. Bass fishing's okay, but I want some crappie or some catfish.
True.
I like to eat fish.
It's funny. Like bass fishing is my favorite. That's
So
like
now it's. Have you had the chance to experience crawfish yet?
yes, because of Lainey.
Oh yeah.
The first time I went to Louisiana, she's like, "You're gonna eat a crawfish," and I'm like, I
No,
feel. Can I just be honest
yeah.
about? People are going to freaking hate my ass for this. I think it's too much work for the little amount.
You just got to improve your skills
I
of getting them
know.
out.
I
can
know.
go through them, boy.
First time I was down there eating crawfish with him, he said, "Son, you gonna starve to death. Let me show you how we do things."
And literally, I mean,
You got to get on with it.
I feel like
Move through it quick.
if I got it and I was able to eat a lot, of it, I feel like I would. I'd like it better, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll have crawfish. Well, y'all aren't coming down this weekend till Saturday for the show. We're having crawfish Friday night, and then I got 4
Oh.
sacks. We're going down to our beach house for Easter weekend. I got 4 sacks and 20 pounds of shrimp. So we're
Yes.
so we're gonna.
I did grow up on the coast, and we had some good shrimp.
I love a good shrimp bowl too.
Yes.
But we put like the little red potatoes
Uh-huh.
and corn on the cob
Yes.
and sausage and things in there, even whole pods of garlic, and even green beans and things
So
like
good.
that, because all that Cajun spice soaks into all that stuff.
Yes.
I love this time of year.
Oh my gosh, that sounds incredible.
Who's ready for lunch?
I know, right? I got hungry.
We
Got
do.
one for you. What's your most embarrassing moment on stage?
Most embarrassing moment. I'm trying to. I don't know about necessarily embarrassing. I've fallen once, like back in the day, but like one moment was actually out with y'all, and this was when I was still pregnant. I was very pregnant.
very
I
pregnant.
should not have been on the road, but I was not missing this show. It was full band too, super cool. We were right. It was with Tracy. Yeah. And it was up in like Chicago area or something, and it was snowing its ass off, and our van like would not turn off, which is hilarious. We had like a Sprinter van, and so that was a whole thing. But we had van troubles on our way up, so we rolled in. Doors were open, and we were loading on the stage. And you know what a Braxton Hicks contraction is? It's like women have them early on, but they get a little more intense. It's like your body preparing your body for birth, and I'm on. At this point, the fans are looking at me. I don't care. We are just like lucky to be there on time. And this woman is front row, and I have a crazy Braxton Hicks contraction, and I'm standing there, and I just go. And my band leader at the time, he goes, "Are you okay?" Like everybody's just thinking I'm just gonna pop a baby out, and I was like, "I'm good. I'm just having a Braxton Hicks contraction." And the woman up front goes, "What?" And the whole time, the whole show, she is looking at me so concerned, and it was like one of those moments I'll never forget. It was really funny. I was like, "I promise, I'm not about to give birth on stage. Everything is fine." It's great. Put on a hell of a show. It was wonderful.
So did you see the clip several months back? It was last year. I don't remember how far back, when Brantley Gilbert's wife had the baby with the midwife on the bus. And he left the stage. He was out there doing his show, and she gave birth. He went out there and basically caught the baby.
Yes.
The only thing he didn't do was bring the kid back out like Mufasa and hold it up to the crowd. He should have.
I thought that was so awesome. Now, I will say, I planned on doing something similar, which is crazy. I was going to open for Joan Jett on my due date. And I was prepared to have Sterling in Vegas. I was like, we are not missing this. We are keeping this date. They let us keep the date as long as possible. And Lindsey's like, "Kasey, I don't know." I'm like, "We are going to do it." And we ended up having to, obviously, because I went. I actually
you met
had
Joan
her.
yet?
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
dude, she's one of my idols, one of my heroes. And I have met her. And one of my biggest song is called "Jesus" and Joan Jett, and it is the song that keeps on giving.
See the I Love Rock and Roll?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever sang that one?
Oh,
Show?
oh, heck yeah. Oh my gosh. If I sing I Love Rock and Roll pretty much at every show. That and Fancy are my covers. And yeah, she's badass. But yeah, I was fully prepared to have that moment in Vegas. But Sterling came on her due date, which is rare for a first baby. So
Well, I've enjoyed this.
Me
It's been a
too.
whole lot of fun.
Me too.
So next year, after things get rolling good, after you go through a couple of these big tours that you're getting ready to embark on, I want you to come back and
Let's do it.
let's update where you're at in your
I
life and your
can't
career.
wait. And maybe we'll have a few more songs written too under our belt
I'm sure we
to
will.
talk about. I love it.
All right, Kasey Tyndall, everybody.
Thanks, y'all.